Welcome to the show, everyone. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com coming to you on Sunday, August 5th. Hope you're having a good Sunday with your family. We've had 2 days of fall camp. Wanted to talk about what we've seen at Bryant-Denny yesterday during Media Day and also on Friday during Alabama's first practice. We're going to pipe in some Nick Saban press conferences. We're also going to pipe in Mike Locksley and Tagovailoa, who we got to hear yesterday, as well as Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. Now everybody wants to talk about the quarterback situation, so I figured we'd kind of organize everything into one show and kind of play the best sound bites from the last couple of days. Feel free to call into the show at any time. The call-in number is 205-686-3604. You can call in live to the show and we can talk. We can kick the ball back and forth. You can let me know what you think about Alabama football. But I think a proper way to start the show is to talk about a story that everybody's talking about, and that is Jalen Hurts' mom and her comments yesterday after Jalen Hurts spoke to the media. She posted this on the Jalen Hurts Facebook fan page. I'm going to read this off for you guys. Wow, ignorance is bliss. When has Jalen ever spoken to the media about anything other than the team? When has he whined, pouted, or talked about what y'all don't know takes place behind the scenes? There's a reason why players aren't allowed to speak to the media. Jalen spoke his truth finally after 3 years of being compliant and controlled. You have no idea what is and has been going on and most likely never will. Folks quick to speak highly of his character and demeanor, but now he is the completely opposite of all those accolades today. If you can turn on this young man today for speaking and not your president for any of his rhetoric, you'll never know him to begin with. Now, those were comments from Jalen Hurts' mom posted on Facebook, and everybody's talking about that. It's today on BamaInsider.com. If you guys want to call into the show, it's 205-686-3604. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. We're going to be talking today about the quarterback situation at Alabama, and also going to be piping in some Nick Saban comments, as well as Tagovailoa and Mike Locksley on the show today. Thanks for joining me. You can always reach out to me at kyle@bamainsider.com. That's my email. I'll help you guys out with any type of customer service issues that you might have. And you can always call into the show again, 205-686-3604. We also have a flash sale going on. You can see at the bottom of the page that ends Sunday, August 5th. The flash sale is 50% off the first year of annual subscription. $99.95 is the regular price. Pay just $49.97 on your first year, nearly $50 in savings. Promo code is TIDE, all caps 50. Be sure and log into that. Wanted to play this next clip. This is Jalen Hurts, and this is what he had to say yesterday. And let me get that for you right here. So this is Jalen Hurts. I'm going to frame it up on the other side so it plays. And this is Jalen Hurts speaking yesterday to the media.
Well, I think, like I said, they didn't want me to talk for whatever reason. I get the opportunity to speak now, and I mean, I've always tried to handle situations like this and handle speaking the best way that I can, because at the end of the day, I'm representing myself and I'm representing my family back home.
What was with the use of social media, though? I mean, you could have, in some ways, did that. Was that also kind of explicitly told to you that maybe you shouldn't post something on social media to kind of answer, I guess, some of these questions?
Well, I think it's something that you just, this is a situation that is uncontrollable. Coaches can't control this situation. They'll dictate who plays, but as far as other variations to it, they don't control it, honestly. And like I said, this whole spring, ever since the game, they kind of wanted to let it play out. They kind of, I guess, didn't think it was a thing or tried to let it die down like it wasn't something there, because there's always been an elephant in the room. And it's like, for me, no one came up to me the whole spring, coaches included. No one asked me how I felt. No one asked me what was on my mind. No one asked me, how I felt about the things that were going on. Nobody asked me what my future inhaled, and that's that. So now it's like, when we try and kind of handle the situation now, for me, it's kind of late. It's too late. The narrative has already been created.
Was that a problem that you didn't get that kind of response or even that inquiries from your coaches or anybody on the team? Is that an issue for you?
I think as a player, you definitely want to feel some concern from your coaches, I guess, but I don't necessarily think they were not concerned, because they're definitely concerned. I just don't think that they were maybe bold enough to ask. Like it was I know it's there, but I don't want to talk about it. And I definitely think it was something that should have been talked about a long time ago, instead of being talked about when it's here. It's like kind of like a stove. After that game, the stove got turned on, the heat got turned up, and it's like, okay, now we put the pot on the stove, now we put the food on the stove, now the food's cooking, right? And come the season when it officially starts, the food will be done.
How has your mindset changed from the championship game, where you were pretty, very diplomatic, very complimentary of what was going on, and then now, based on all the stuff that's transpired since then?
Well, like I said, I know I have a lot of supporters. I have a lot of followers, and I have a lot of people watching me at all times. And now, with the success that I've had here in the first 2 years, I've built a brand for myself, and I've tried to represent this university in the best way that I can. Stayed out of trouble, made good grades, and doing all those things. So that's the thing.
All right, that was Jalen Hurts speaking to the media yesterday. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Thanks for joining us. For you guys just joining us, it's 205-686-3604. You guys can call and give me your thoughts. Talking about the quarterback situation at Alabama today. Jalen hot, right? I mean, my goodness, he was fired up yesterday, and he really spoke his mind. And you don't really see that at the college level so much. I think you see that more at the pro level. But what Jalen did yesterday, really speaking his mind. He blew the hinges off, and I think a lot of people are upset with how he handled himself, what he had to say. I want to hear your thoughts. You guys can call in anytime to the show. We got a caller coming in, and I'll take that call right now. Hey, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson. Thanks for calling into the show.
Hey, what's happening, man?
What you got, man? What do you think about this quarterback situation? I hope that's what you're calling about.
Yes, I am, and I'm a lifelong fan. I was born with Crimson blood. Basically, to be honest, I think Jalen, I love him. I love everything he's done, but I think he's being a little bit of a baby right now. Did anybody go and ask Tua how he's feeling? Who cares? It's a competition. Be a man, step up to the plate, give it your all, and stop crying and complaining to the media when you get your little 2 minutes of speak time or whatnot. But based on the interviews, Tua looked confident and Jalen didn't look confident, and I'm going off of that, and I'm going off the energy that Tua is putting out. He looks like a leader right now, and that's who I'm standing behind. I'm standing behind the whole team. To be honest with you, whether it's Tua or Jalen, I know the coaches and they're going to make the best decision, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Let me ask you this. Has Nick Saban handled this quarterback situation in the offseason correctly? What are your thoughts on how he's approached this? In many ways, he's sidestepped a lot of the questions and just wanted this to play out. And maybe right. Jalen's comments have really backfired on Jalen. As he said, he doesn't want any attention drawn to these players, and Jalen fell right for that.
Right. Yeah. No, I think Saban handled it, the best he could. It's a competition, and I think he's kind of just letting the chips fall where they may, and the best man win. And everything's involved with that these days. Social media and outside of football, also who the leader is, and he kind of just letting things play out. But yeah, no, I think Jalen, he made it more about him when it should have been about the team. He should have answered each question I'm not focused. I'm focused on getting better every day. He shouldn't have even gone there with any of those questions. And he made it more about him than it is about the team. And I think that was a big mistake on Jalen's part. But that's just my opinion.
Hey, good stuff. Are you a subscriber of BamaInsider.com?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll
I'm
tell you
not.
this. If you want to sign up today, I will tack on a free 30 days and then 30 days after that. So you'll get 60 days free to BamaInsider.com. Email me, Kyle@BamaInsider.com. Is that cool?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Call
Can
in
you put
anytime,
the
man.
email on the, or is there somewhere I can
just
find you?
Kyle@BamaInsider.com.
Okay.
All right, thanks for calling
That's
in, buddy.
simple.
All right, see ya.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, good calling. You know, I in many ways, you know, it's Jalen yesterday was about himself, and never seen that from Jalen before. And I was really shocked about his comments. Wanted to play in this next clip. This is Nick Saban talking to him yesterday about the quarterback situation. Now, this was before Jalen took the podium, and we have yet to hear from Saban since Jalen's comments. So this is Saban early in the morning yesterday, 9:45 on Media Day. This is what he's had to say about the quarterbacks. I'll bring this up. Here we go.
Middle left of Reiner. When you talk about the quarterbacks having to win the team, do you solicit feedback from members of the team, say the leadership council, or do you just assess that on an individual basis from your past experience?
No, I think we assess it from, we don't have a straw vote on the team as to who they think the quarterback ought to be. I don't know that it would be like any election. Most people don't get elected unanimously, so therefore it would be a divisive vote that probably would not be healthy for the togetherness of the team. You know, I think these things have to be made at a little higher level based on a set of circumstances relative to consistency in performance, other players believing in leadership, a lot of factors that come into that you know, as a coaching staff, not just me, we have to make a determination as to how we should play the quarterbacks. All right, now what you guys are totally fixed on is somebody has to be first team and somebody has to be second team. Tell me why. I'm asking you, why? You can't answer that. Well, then why? I'm asking why. I mean, why do you think that way? I mean, if there's people on our team that can contribute, I mean, why would we not utilize their abilities to be able to contribute on our team in some form or fashion? You know, just like when we have a guy that's a great DPR and we put him in on third down and he rushes the passer. He's not a starter. But I guess at quarterback, that just doesn't matter in you all's mind.
We'll go fresh.
All right, that was Nick Saban yesterday. His comments. I thought Nick was bringing the heat. I mean, he was fired up. You could tell football was right on time with him. And I thought his comments about why do you have to have a starter? And you could play potentially two quarterbacks and bring in Jalen if you needed to in certain situations. But I think yesterday, like I said, these comments were before Jalen's comments, and I can't wait to hear what Nick Saban has to say when we speak to him next. I believe that'll be Wednesday, what he has to say regarding Jalen's comments, because I'm sure he knows how to play. He's been around a long time. This isn't the first time a player has went out to the media like this, so it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say on Wednesday when we hear from him. You guys can call into the show, 205-686-3604. Appreciate you guys joining us, and I'm really fired up about this season, about what Alabama's going to bring. And I wanted to pipe in another clip. This time it's going to be from Mike Locksley. He's also talking about the quarterback position. It was the first time we got to hear Mike Locksley, the new offensive coordinator, along with Tosh Lapoy yesterday. I'm going to pipe in Tosh in a little bit. But here's what Locksley had to say. If you guys want to call in the meantime, I'll get to your calls whenever I can. 205-686-3604. Let me get that Tosh. Let me get that Mike Locksley video lined up for you guys. Here's Mike Locksley yesterday talking about the quarterbacks.
Sorry to ask. I had a couple. Sorry to ask another quarterback question, but what have you liked from those guys, whether it's development on the field or just their attitude, because it's such a high-profile competition?
Well, first and foremost, I think both those guys have been pros in terms of how they've gone about competing. Both those guys put the time in. They both are students of the game. They spend a lot of time upstairs in the coaches' offices trying to improve themselves. I see those guys working really well with all the different tools we have on the offensive side of the ball. So, for both of those guys, they really are working hard to improve and find ways to get better individually.
And as far as the receivers go, how about often had like.
All right. Now, that's a good point out. Now, we got to chat. George, I appreciate it. He said, at what point is too late based on the negative interview yesterday, most likely end up in transfer. All right, now, if Jalen does transfer, it's not going to be until the end of the season. Remember, he has 15 credits to graduate, so he'll have to graduate at the end of December. Now, here are some possible scenarios. Jalen could potentially play 4 games for Alabama, still use that redshirt year, and then transfer at the end of the season. Now, Jalen has a lot of power behind him because he doesn't have to tell the coaches who he's talking to in terms of other teams where he needs to transfer. There's a new rule passed where you don't have to say where you're going to go, what you're going to do next. So Jalen could potentially play 4 games and then transfer after the season. But hold on. What happens if Tua gets hurt this year? I mean, and Jalen doesn't want to come in. What if Jalen can you see what I'm saying? What if Jalen does come in and Jalen continues to run the show? I mean, Tua missed spring practice. Let's hope that injury that he's 100% recovered from, let's hope that doesn't happen down the road. And I think a lot of people failed to talk about this quarterback, Mack Jones, the A-Day MVP. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's asked a single question about him. And he's totally capable, I think, this year of at least leading this offense. There's too many weapons on this team not to be good. So there's a lot of variables going on, and it's going to be interesting to see what Jalen does moving forward through fall camp. I'm sure Nick Saban and Jalen have already talked behind closed doors after yesterday. It was a heated interview, and if you want to watch Jalen's comments, rewind to the beginning of the show, I played them. Powerful comments by Jalen Hurts, Alabama's quarterback, who's done a lot here in Tuscaloosa, but didn't win a national championship game, and I think that's what it all comes down to. Let's face it, this isn't Little League. Nobody has to pull you to the side and ask you about your feelings. Now I've said it many times on the show right here. I felt that Jalen would start against Louisville. At least go out onto the field and start, and then they would rotate the 2 quarterbacks. Now I'm not too sure. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen anymore. I think yesterday the quarterback position at the starting position was determined with Jalen's comments. I think he had a shot, and I think yesterday, that's all out the window. Jalen was repping with the number 2s yesterday as well as the number 1s. But I think when people first initially saw practice, I think Tua was with the 1s, handing off to Damian Harris, and Jalen was handing off to Najee Harris. So maybe the writing is on the wall already. You can call into the show, 205-686-3604. Give me a call. Let's talk some Alabama football if you want. This next clip I'm going to bring up is a completely different vibe, and this is by Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to read your clips real quick. Yeah, Bradley, what's up, man? I see your comments. Nobody's talking about Mack Jones, right? 3 quarterbacks that can win the Natty. I certainly agree. And nobody's talking about the running backs either, right? I want to talk about more positions, but all that's festering right now about Alabama football is the quarterbacks. When you have all those running backs in the backfield, each one could be a top running back in the country. The receiving corps that I've seen at practice, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, those guys look like polished seniors, and they're only sophomores. There's a lot of talent on this team. We got another call coming in. Hey, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson. Thanks for joining us. What you got?
Hey, Kyle. I'm Jerry, a member on Bama Insider. I want to thank you guys, first of all, for the job you do. You do an excellent job, and you give us a chance to express our opinions in a very professional way, and I really appreciate that. That's first of all.
All right. What you got second? Is it about the quarterbacks?
Yesterday was a little bit of an aberration for all of us to see Jalen come out and speak the way he did. But I want to say this. Even though he did come out and say things that were a little bit against his character, I think if you, and you know what I'm talking about, if you read some of the comments people have made about this kid, and I know that Tua is the better passer and all that, but I think it might have been a situation where he just got into an area where he felt like it had bubbled and he was really frustrated and he wanted to express himself and let people know how he really felt. And human beings are we're all the same in the sense that we all have a breaking point. We all have a boiling point. And this kid's been through a lot in terms of a lot of the negative things that people have said about him. On our board, I've heard people say some horrible things about this young man, about him being the worst quarterback they've ever seen. He can't throw a lick. He's never made a throw in a big game to help us, which is totally untrue. So I have a feeling, and I know what you're saying about the comments that he made yesterday and how that may affect him going forward in the quarterback competition. I have a feeling that it's just going to make him compete that much harder. And I didn't see anything yesterday that made me think he was giving up or he wasn't going to compete really hard. I think you were one of the moderators commented on a couple of terrific throws that he made yesterday. He doesn't seem like he's throwing in the towel at all to me. And knowing how professional Nick Saban is and how Nick Saban doesn't get affected as much as we fans do about a comment that's made in the media, I don't think he's going to hold it against the kid. And I think we're going to see a really outstanding knockdown, drag-out battle among those two. And I think it may be a whole lot closer than people think when it's said and done.
I think this is a wonderful call, and I thank you for calling in, and I thank you for being a subscriber of BamaInsider.com. One quarterback that we haven't talked about, and I wanted to ask your opinion, is Mack Jones. He's a guy who last year we saw a lot of immaturity from him. This year he was an A-Day MVP. Are you excited about Mack Jones and the quarterback that nobody's talking about? It seems like he has a lot of capability, and maybe he could be the future quarterback here at Alabama. What are your thoughts on Mack Jones?
I'll tell you what, buddy, you hit it on the nail. There was a guy on the board that said yesterday that he thought that Mack Jones was the most impressive out of the three.
Yeah.
He's moving up the ladder. I mean, I don't think he's good enough to contend right now for a starting job. He's got to read coverages. He threw some pick sixes in the A-Day game or some bad throws, and that's just a part of the maturation process. But he reminds you a lot of a young A.J. McCarron.
He does.
He needs to get a little stronger, but he's got a really accurate arm. He seems to be really bright. And I think that guy has a real bright future ahead of him. I mean, every time you see him, he seems to be getting better.
Absolutely. This is a great call. Please email me at kyle@BamaInsider.com. I got something special coming your way. You'll do that?
Okay, buddy. Thank you, and you have a great Sunday. Okay?
Call in every time. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Great calling. My goodness. And I'm glad to see somebody calling on the positive side of Jalen because I don't think he has given up. I don't think he's thrown in the towel. He spoke his mind, but he's not packed up his bags. He's going to be at practice Monday, and I think he's going to compete. Now, I think those comments certainly drew attention to him, and he might be in the doghouse for all we know. But like our last caller said, Saban is going to work this out with Jalen and Tua. You have the greatest college football coach in history who's dealt with quarterback battles before. Everybody's excited about this, but I think Nick Saban is going to handle this the way he handles himself, and that's with class, and he always makes the right move to put the players in the best position. And quarterback situation is more delicate, and everybody wants to talk about it a little bit more because it is the quarterback position. But in the end, Alabama football will be fine against Louisville. And if you saw, Vegas Insider has Alabama as a 4-touchdown favorite. No rat poison intended. Coming up on the show, I want to talk about Tua. And we've been talking mostly about Jalen, and that's kind of the hot topic issue. But here are Tua's comments yesterday from Media Day, and just a very polished young man. I got a chance to speak with him earlier this summer out in Los Angeles at the Elite 11, and he was talking about his brother Talia, who is also committed to Alabama. I really liked what Tua had to say yesterday. Handled himself very well, and obviously, he's cool, collective, and you want that in your quarterback. So here are Tua Tagovailoa's comments yesterday at Media Day.
Nothing big after that.
Is that frustrating, having to miss spring?
Yes and no. It gave me a good amount of time to rest and just focus mentally on the plays and focus on protections and whatnot. So I think it was kind of a good, but at the same time, I learned a lot better doing, than just watching. So.
How much has your life changed in the last 8 months, 9 months since the championship game?
I mean, it's definitely changed a lot, and I think that goes for anyone who's in the spotlight or whatnot, and who nobody really knows about, and performs in a big situation. So, I think that's it's changed, and I think that goes for anyone that does something at least decent on a big stage. So,
Tua, where would you like to take your game to the next level, and maybe the things you're focusing on improving?
You said what would I?
Yeah, what would number one thing that you'd like to improve?
I think everyone has a lot of things to improve on, but for me, I'd say my biggest thing is working on my relationship with my teammates. We have a lot of younger guys, and helping out a lot of the younger guys, getting to understand the plays, getting to understand, how everything works around here, getting them kind of going within our system. I think that's going to help us better not only each other, but better ourselves as a team. So,
who are some of the young receivers that have impressed you so far?
We've had our receivers from last year, our freshman group from last year. Now we're sophomores. Jalen Waddle has been a really good asset to us as well. We have Xavier Marks as well. So I think we'll be fine as far as what we can do at our receiving corps.
What do you have to do to win the job?
Uncomfortable or awkward or anything for you and Jalen, knowing that there's so much talk that it's going to get settled on the field that still people are talking about?
Nothing. We don't talk about any quarterback controversies at practice. Me and Jalen don't even bring it up. As far as this season, we're just looking at getting each other better. There's no negative contingencies. We don't go into games thinking I might not start, or I'm going to go into this game and I'm going to throw a pick. No negative contingencies. We want to be positive. Because the team looks at that. The team looks at what we say, at the media as well. And so, I just don't want anything, to ruin our relationship and whatnot. And I don't think anything between me and Jalen is bad. So.
And Tua, how much have you learned from Dan Enos thus far as a quarterback's coach?
Oh, we've learned a lot. It's a lot different now from last year. Last year we didn't really have a certified specific position coach, and now that we do, it gives us the opportunity to have someone really, hone in and focus in on just our position, so.